In this open response question, we have to determine the volume of the rectangular prism shown here. And we know that volume involves 3 dimensions, so we would need 3 variables to solve for the volume. And our formula for the volume of a prism, rectangular prism, is the height times the length times the width. So if we look at our diagram, this distance here would be the height, this distance here would be the length, and this little distance here would be the width. So we know that the length is equal to 12 centimeters and the width is equal to 4 centimeters. So we can sub those values into our equation here. We can get volume is equal to height. We don't know that yet. The length is 12 and the width is 4. Now, in order to solve for volume, we would need to find out what h is. Well, how do we do that? Well, we're given a hint here. We can use the Pythagorean theorem as part of the process for the solution. Now, Pythagorean theorem involves a triangle with a right angle in it. So this is the corner here. And we can see here that this distance here is 15 centimeters. And that's known as the hypotenuse. And Pythagorean theorem says that the 2 short sides of a right angle triangle, if you square them and add them together, they will equal to the long side squared. So in our case, h squared plus 12 squared will equal 15 squared. So we can use this equation now to solve for h. Okay, so h squared plus 12 squared is 144, and 15 squared is 225. Now we need to isolate the h, so we have to get rid of this 144. So what we do is we subtract 144 from both sides. And when we do that, h squared would equal 81. So to isolate and get down to the h, what we would do is we take the square root of both sides. So h would equal the square root of 81. And the square root of 81 is plus or minus 9. Well, we can't have a negative 9 in terms of distance here, so we know that our answer is h is going to be 9 centimeters. So h here is equal to 9. Alright, now what we could do is go back up to our volume formula and plug in our value for h, which is 9. So 9 times 12 times 4 will be the volume of the rectangular prism. And when we work that out, the volume is going to be 432. Okay, so now we have to answer the question. The volume of the rectangular prism is, well, we know it's going to be 432, but we can't forget about the units. Now let's look at the units here. We've got centimeters there, and centimeters there, so we actually have to multiply those all together, and when we do that, we would get centimeters cubed. And the units really tell us a lot of information because we're dealing with a 3-dimensional shape. Multiplying 3 variables, we know that the exponent should be a 3. And there you go. Our answer is 432 centimeters cubed.